What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and today I'm going to have one of my most requested top 10 videos. That's going to be the top 10 suicide champions. So these are champions that see the greatest benefit when you use them with suicides versus with not. So I'm looking at the greatest jump in power and also the greatest of the champions when they're suicide active. So one disclaimer is I will be leaving Ghost and Quake off this list, or else it would be kind of boring because they just take 1 and 2. So I want to make it interesting, so I'll leave it in the description also. No Quake and Ghost, just everyone else beside that, that'll be our ranking. So let's start off with number 10. And so coming in at the number 10 spot is Captain Marvel movie. Now, I have her as a 2 and a 3-star champion, and I just didn't really want to do gameplay of it because it bores me half to death whenever I have to. But Captain Marvel movie is really, really great with suicide. So first off, she has that natural immunity to poison, so you're not going to be taking the damage there. Her bleed, she can be bled, but the thing is, once you enter her binary mode, she gains the indestructible, so you will not be taking damage from the bleed, and you'll just be getting the heal. And also, one of the great things is that while she's indestructible, she gets a huge increase to her damage, and probably only needs 1 or 2 special 2s, so recoil isn't a huge drawback. The only thing is that in her first fight, if you want to throw special 1s, you can't really do that because it would take away a lot of her health via recoil. So that's why she only comes in at number 10, but she's a super good option for suicides. Now in the number 9 spot is Colossus. So Colossus is really, really great with them. So first off, you have the immunity to bleed, which can be made into an armor up, which will give you even more damage. The only thing that Colossus is annoying with is that you have to throw off some special 2s to get your damage, and as you're ramping him up, the first special 2s don't hit as hard, so you might need 2 to 3 special 2s per fight, and that'll take away about 15 to 10% of your health because of recoil. And he does have the no immunity to poison, so he's going to be taking the damage there. But the increase to his damage is so much that it is definitely worth using him with suicides. Like, this Captain Marvel movie, or just classic Captain Marvel fight, could probably be done in about 2 or 3 special 3s at a 500k health opponent. Because I'm not running suicides in this video because I don't have them unlocked yet. But you can see these heavy attacks, when they're doing 27k here, they'd probably be doing around 30 to 35k with only like 10 armor ups. So Colossus is definitely great if you want to run suicides, and if you're thinking about investing to make Colossus better, I would definitely recommend it. He's a really solid number 9 spot. Now at number 8 is Warlock, and Warlock's actually kind of similar to Colossus in the fact that he will be using enough special 2s that will recoil him down. But the reason I put Warlock above Colossus is because not only does he have the immunity to bleed, but he also has immunity to poison. So immediately the debuffs are taken off you, and he has a great increase in his base damage because he hits for like a fair amount, you know, pretty standard without it. But with suicides, his base damage just becomes a lot better and a lot more consistent, which is nice because sometimes when you're playing Warlock, he doesn't feel that powerful, even though he has all the utility. But when you're playing Suicide Warlock, it's a completely different ballgame. And if you're doing around 2 to 300, 2 to 400, 1,000 health opponents, 1 or 2 special 2s will be enough to get him down with all the heavy attacks and armor breaks that'll be on the opponent. So he's a really, really great option for suicides, but just because he has to throw a little bit more specials to get his damage in, I have to put him at number 8, but that should not discredit him. He's great if you want to run them, and he's a very solid number 8 spot. And now at number 7, we have the new Angela. Newly buffed Angela is so good with suicides. So once you get, I think, up to 3 buffs, you completely ignore the debuffs. So you'll just be getting willpower healing, which is going to be so nice for you. And although Angela does not have some great special damage, so you're going to have to throw a lot of them, the reason she makes it higher than the previous 3 is because she has regeneration built into her kit as well as the willpower you're going to be getting. Because with the bleed and a poison debuff on you, you're going to be getting enough willpower healing to last. But the fact that she has regeneration buff in her kit makes her so sustainable with suicides. So even if you throw like 4 or 5 special attacks, you might only end up losing 10% comparatively to like 20 or 25. So she's a really great option for suicides, and they do give her a fat boost to her damage. So I definitely recommend them if you're playing Angela. And at number 6 is Immortal Abomination. Now, this is one of the great suicide champions, in my opinion. After this, we're going to start getting into the kind of essential suiciders, but this is such a good option for suicide. So he won't be able to shrug off the bleed, of course, but he gets a poison on him, and that only benefits him because he can start willpower healing because he takes no damage from poison, and it also helps you because it'll only be one poison, but the fact that when you're losing your poisons as they're putting more onto the opponent, having that one extra is just a little nice touch that you don't realize really, but suicides do help with that effect. Also, you get some nice boost to your acid burn damage, your nice base damage increase because his base damage is only okay. So yeah, Immortal Abomination is really, really good with suicides in my opinion. And here's the thing, you only need to throw about 2 specials in a fight, but that probably won't even matter because the amount of willpower healing you're going to be getting through him consistently throughout the fight with all the poisons on you is just more than enough to keep him sustained. So he very easily comes in at number 6 for me. And now, number 5 is Magneto. So Magneto does not rely on his special 2 or 1. So that is huge first off. Secondly, he has the 90% resistance to bleed. So basically, the bleed debuff is going to be healing you as long as you have willpower on. The only thing you'll be taking damage from through this fight is the poison debuff. So this makes him extremely sustainable and extremely compatible with suicides. Since you won't be taking recoil damage, you can feel free to throw your special 3, which is the main source of his damage anyway. And the fact that you'll have that resistance to bleed and that extra healing to keep him topped off, he's so good you will not lose it. Barely any percent through a fight, and he's easily number 5, but not quite as good as the others. And at number 4, this might be a bit too soon to tell, but I'm going to go for it now. I'm going to say ShangChi, and at number 4, he is just so good on alone. So without anything, he's such a utility machine. He has so much damage, but that cleanse ability with the medium, light, medium combo will take the suicides off you within like no time at all. And his damage is so good with the special 2 that it'll probably only take 1 or 2 to finish the fight, most likely 1. And the fact that your opponent will probably die from that special attack, you probably won't even be taking the recoil damage from it. So ShangChi is an unbelievable suicide option. I think a lot of people are going to be going for this guy as the 6-star featured, including myself. And I hope that I unlock suicide soon because I really want to test it out with this guy because his damage just goes through the roof, base and just special attacks. So he right now might be a little early to call, but I am saying it right now. He is one of the best suicide champions in the entire game. And now we move on to the holy trinity of the suicides. So Black Widow Clairvoyant, Corvus Glaive, and Omega Red. And at number 3 out of those, I have Black Widow Clairvoyant. Now, she is so good with them. You can cleanse the debuffs off you by switching into your poison mode right after you start the fight. So it's literally 4 hits and the suicides are gone. So you're not taking any more damage from them. And the thing that makes Claire so good with them is that you will be throwing a lot of special 2s, and that will give you a lot of recoil damage. But since your damage is boosted, if you're in the blood phase, I don't really know what it's called, I know it's the bleed phase, you will gain your health back, and since your attack rating is increased, the healing is based off how much damage you do, you will be gaining a lot of health back, so you probably will end up the fights with only taking like 5 or less percent, depending on how big the opponent is or how much damage you do on your special 2s. So she's easily just becomes a completely different champion with suicides. I cannot wait to unlock them. She's one of the reasons why I want to unlock them, because I like her now, but I know once I get them, she'll just become one of my top options for all content every day. So Clairvoyant easily comes in at number 3, but there are arguments that I would love to hear for why she's number 2 and number 1, because I could easily see them out. But yeah, for me, she is number 3. Now, at number 2, I have Corvus. So Corvus's base damage is already nutty. Throw on suicides and you're hitting for like 11k mediums as a rank 3 6-star with 1 charge. So a lot of people will think, well, wait, Corvus has to throw a lot of special 2s, which gives him recoil. He's not immune to poison. The only thing he has is the bleed immunity. And you are correct. But, and this is a big but, if your Corvus is awakened, none of that matters. You can take as much damage as possible, but as long as you have 1 glaive charge, you will not die from the suicides or recoil. And the thing is, you'll be like, okay, well, what if I run out of glaive charges in the fight? the damage increase is so stupid with suicides that you will most guarantee to finish the fight off with your first set of glaive charges. And if you're using a cosmic power booster, just forget it. You're absolutely fine. Corvus is just, like I say, a completely different champion with suicides. And since I ranked 3 my 6-star, he has been the sole reason why I want to unlock them. But the secondary sole reason that I want to unlock them is because of my rank 5 5-star coming in at number 1. And that champion is no other than Omega Red. Omega Red sees the greatest increase and benefit from the Suicide Masteries in the entire game. And out of all the champions I listed, he is the best out of all of them when he has suicides. So yes, I would say maybe aside from Magneto, with suicides he is the best, but he easily has a bigger increase with suicides than Magneto sees. So first off, you start the fight in your death field phase because of the bleed, and you're also taking that bleed as reduced damage because you have 90% resistance. So you're dealing more damage in the beginning with your death field, your base damage is higher, and you're also immune to poison, so you're only willpower healing and you're doing more damage. So there's literally no downside to it. And then when you throw your special 2, you're going to take your recoil, but if you can get in a special 1 by the end of the fight, because the death spores are probably so high on the opponent, you can just heal it all back and you're absolutely fine. Omega Red is just by far the best suicide champion in the game. People can argue Corvus and Clairvoyant, but at the end of the day, I just think it's easily him. The amount of utility he brings with suicides, the amount of ease that comes when you're running suicides with him, he just becomes and I mean this more than any other champion on this list, a completely different champion. When you're using Omega without it, right here, it's kind of a slow fight. Like, this is about a 2-minute kill. When you're using suicides, it's probably around a minute or sub-minute. So it is a massive increase in damage. It is absolutely essential for Omega Red, and he's just, in my opinion, easily the best with suicides. That is going to do it for today's top 10. Now, before I go, I do want to give some honorable mentions to the 3 primary ones who are kind of close to making this list but couldn't quite make the cut, and those are Immortal Hulk, Aegon, Dragon Man, and Hitmonkey. So I guess 4, not 3, but still. They were all very close to making the list. They're very compatible with suicides, and they're all great options if you want to invest in them. So if you have suicides, I'd say rank those guys up because they're great. So that's going to do it for today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed, and feel free to subscribe. But remember, it is never required because your viewership truly does mean a lot to me. And we are nearing 100 subscribers, and I have a very, very cool video planned for that. It's going to be good. So if you guys want to stay tuned for that, do feel free to stick around, and I will see you in the next one.